Hey guys, we're back with another YouTube video. I'm so excited to talk about this because we're talking about the 10 reasons why I knew that she was the one, and she being Jacqueline, my wife. So let's just get right into it and talk about it. She had sass, S-A-S, you get it, you get the point. She had personality. That was huge for me. When I was looking around trying to figure out who my wife was gonna be or who I even wanted to date for that reason, I wanted a girl that had personality, a girl that could keep the conversation going, keep things interesting as we talked, a girl that could talk on deep things, a girl that could talk on not so deep things, a girl that could talk sports, a girl that we could talk about common interests, and it's an interesting conversation in which we can get to know each other. That was huge for me. And she also had, like I mentioned, sass. She was able to dish it out and she was able to take it. So that was kind of fun as we started the initial dating phase and was kind of feeling each other out, and to know that you have that person you can talk to and be yourself with, and she could be herself with me. That was huge, that we were both being ourselves, being true to who we were, and we were connecting. She also had that 24/7 slay. She loved style, she was into fashion, so I was all about it. I saw her walk out. The first time I met her, or really noticed her, we were at church together in, I think, choir rehearsal, and she walked into the room and I was in mid conversation. I did one of these. Whoa. Like, I noticed her walking in. I'm like, who that? Or who is that? Or as island folks would say, who that is. But anyway, I saw her walking in the room and I noticed she had style, she looked good, she was confident, and she just walked in the room and owned the room. So I had to know who that girl was. I mean, I played it cool and all that stuff, but I just had to know. And the fact that she was into style, that resonated with me because I like fashion. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell, you know. I like fashion, but it's kind of crazy now that we're married. People always ask, does your wife dress you? I'm like, no, she don't dress me. I dress myself, but she easily could because she has an eye for fashion and style, and she's been doing it since she was a kid, like going through magazines and putting stuff together and pushing the envelope and creating her own style and fashion, and she could literally easily have her own clothing line. But anyway, that was big for me because that's a passion of mine and also was a passion of hers, so we were able to connect on that as well, and that was huge in the initial stages of our dating and when we're starting to get to know each other. She got skills. Homegirl can throw down in the kitchen. I mean, she's ready for any kind of kitchen stadium cook-off. She got it. And we all know that the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Let's be real. I'm a big guy. I love food. And the fact that she can cook and handle herself in the kitchen, that was pretty awesome. That was a cool quality. I was like, because I cook as well, guys. You know, I'm not just someone that's not cooking, but I cook. I love to cook. So knowing that she can cook as well, and she may be better at me in the kitchen, honestly, I'll admit it, but don't tell her that though. But she got skills, and that was impressive that she could do that. And I was like, that just meant something to me. I don't know why it meant something, the fact that knowing that she can cook or I can cook. When I was thinking of future stuff, I was like, who's gonna be cooking? You know, sometimes you let your mind go there when dating. You think of how would we live or function together, and knowing that we both could split that responsibility of cooking for our family, that was huge for me. In my bachelor days or being single, that was a skill that I wanted to perfect and get better at for my wife, so that she would know that, hey, I got you. You know, when I get in the kitchen. Actually, I was even reminded when we were dating, one of our first dates was that I invited her over and I cooked this huge, like, island style meal. I had like a 10-course meal, and like lobster and mahi-mahi and macaroni and peas and rice and all kind of desserts and this big old spread. Like, I cooked as if I was cooking for 20 people, but it's really just me and her. But I wanted to, I was so proud, I was ready for this moment. I was like, oh, I'm sure I could throw down in the kitchen. And I just made this big old spread, and it was good, but that was like one of our memorable first dates. The fact there was so much food, and you could ask her how it tasted. I mean, I'm sure it was great. She got soul. Girl can sing, y'all. She can S-A-N-G-G, sang. If you were on The Voice and your chair was turned and she started singing, you'd be hitting your button right away. She'll get a 4-chair turn. She has got soul. Like if you were to hear her sing and your eyes were closed, you would not believe that the voice was coming out of her. She is super talented, super skilled, super creative. There's so much talent and skills in there. Like I am blown away at how talented she is. Like she's pretty much good at everything, and I don't understand how could one person be so good at everything. But I love her voice. I heard her sing the first time, and kind of like something happened inside me, like, ooh, man, that's so good. I just literally would stop singing every time I hear her singing because I just love her voice, and I was so attracted to that. And the fact that she knows that the Lord's calling her to be a worship leader, and that's a calling of mine too, and we share that together, and we feel the Lord's calling us to do that together. That just connected us on a different level, knowing that we had a joint calling, and just knowing that she's so passionate about worship as I am. That was huge for me as we were dating, and that meant a lot to me. She got saved. I know this was probably the fifth thing that I mentioned, but really, truth be told, this should have been number one. This is my number one reason why I knew she was the one, because she is in love with Jesus. She's passionately pursuing Jesus all the time, and that right there is the most attractive quality that Jacqueline had. Her pursuit of Jesus and her high values, her high morals, the way that she chooses to live her life, that right there was the main reason why I knew she was the one, because I always prayed, Lord, send me a lady that loves you even more than I love you. And that's what I wanted, because I wanted someone that was running after Jesus with the same speed that I was running after Jesus, and she was, and I noticed it, and it was so inspiring to me. And she actually, me watching the way she chases after Jesus helped me to chase after Jesus even more. Like I was like, I'm kind of competitive, not really, but yeah, I am. But just seeing her do things and the way her spiritual disciplines were made me look at my spiritual disciplines and say, hey, I need to do this, or I'm gonna do this. And I just want to be that much closer to Jesus, because she's always wanting to be closer to Jesus. And just because I just love Jesus, but she loved Jesus, I love Jesus. I'm like, hey, this is a good thing. I like where this is going. But anyway, that's my real number one reason, is the fact that she loves Jesus and she passionately pursues him every single day. And it's been 4 years now since we've been married, but we were dating 2.5 years before we got married, but nothing has changed over all that time. She's so sexy. Let's be real. The girl is fine. She's so sexy, and I'm so attracted to her, and I think she's the best looking girl in the world, hands down. I know I married up. Ladies, y'all need to go find yourselves a guy that knows he married up and would treasure you and knows what he got and knows that what he has is better than anything else out there and wouldn't even be looking. But I know that I married up when I married Jacqueline. While I was dating her, I was like, hey, I like it. I need to figure out something. I need to put a ring on it, like Beyonce be saying. I need to lock it down. A wise man once told me, you need to hurry up and marry her before she gets wise and marry somebody else. So I took the notes. I took what was said to me that day, and I was like, I need to put a ring on it. And I did, and she said yes. And I know that I don't plan to do that again. That's the only time. I'm one and done. This is my marriage. We're in it together forever, and we're committed to it. She's super supportive. She's always got my back. She's always building me up and encouraging, and she actually never tears me down with her words. It's such a good thing to have someone you can count on and you know that always has your back, always wants your best interests, always is in your corner, always cheering you on, always sees the good in you and sees the potential in you and knows who you could be and not really focused on your past or your mistakes or your mess ups, because we all mess up, we all fall short. But she always encourages me and pushes me to be the man that she sees me as. And she sees greatness in me, and she's constantly calling out that greatness and constantly encouraging me. And you guys, that's such a huge thing in a relationship, whether dating or marriage, to have that your spouse or whoever you're in a relation with in your corner, and you know you can trust them, and you know that they just want to see you be the best person that you can be, and they're always going to cheer you on and not try to belittle you or bring you down, but they're always trying to build you up and elevate you because they see the greatness in you. And that's what Jacqueline did for me as we were dating. That's what she does for me now, and that is huge. And we do that for each other, but the fact that she would do that for me, that spoke volumes to me as we were dating and as we were trying to figure out, are we meant to be, or is this the person? But the more I started to look at it and see that, the more I started to realize, like, she's so positive. I was like, these are the type of people that I needed in my life, and I want it. And this is the person that I want in my life by my side, because I know together with someone like that, that's so supportive and for you, like we can get through anything that life can throw our way together. She had me sprung. As we started dating and as we started hanging out more and talking and getting to know each other, I started realizing that some weird things was happening inside me. Like, I started doing things I've never done before. I started writing her love letters and leaving her messages in her car or places where she'll find it, and just saying how I felt. There were these weird things happening inside me that's never happened before, and she was the reason why I was feeling these things. I started even using the L word. Like, I started saying I love you, and I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, why? What is happening? And I just couldn't even stop it from happening. It's just, she brought out stuff inside me that I didn't even know was there, or she ended up pulling out emotions out of me. And I think it's a beautiful thing when that starts happening. And even for a guy, you have to think, like, there's something special about her, or why does she make me feel this way, or how is she bringing out these emotions I've never had before. But the fact is, she was doing that, and it was happening often, and it was very confusing for me until I realized, whoa, I think you got it bad. I even remember, like, we've had so much conversations, like, in the parking lot, and I'll be standing in the cold nighttime air, just lingering, trying to keeping the conversation going, because I didn't want to leave, or I didn't want it to end. And I would go, and we would finally end the conversation. It was a great conversation. And I would think to myself, why was I out there so long? Like, why did I not want to leave? Or why was I wishing I was still out there talking to her? And that right there started making me think, like, if I feel this way, I think, like, there's something really there, and there's something that is worth continuing to explore. As I was beginning to see that she was the one, I was like, I can't ignore that. I can't ignore the fact that I want to be out in the winter weather for 2 to 3 hours just talking to someone under a big old tree. She completely smashed my list. So a lot of y'all don't know this, but you may know it, but I wrote down a list of characteristics that I wanted my future spouse to have. I was very specific, and this list turned into a really long list, and I'll have to just tell you about my list another day. But I was really specific with my list, and with these lists of characteristics, I would pray to God many times, and almost like I prayed to God a lot about my future spouse. And Lord, I pray that she's this type of woman. She's, Proverbs type of woman, and that she has these kind of characteristics, and she draws me closer to you, and she's passionately chasing after you, and my list was long. It was like a laundry list. And as I started to get to know Jacqueline and get to know more about her, I started realizing that like she had everything on my list and more. Like I started adding things, like amending my list, adding this thing because she had it. And I was like, oh, let me add this to my list because she had it. And that's how cool God is, that he knew my heart. He knew what I was praying for and decided to give me somebody that was not only my list or what I wanted, but actually also what I needed. He knew what else I needed that I didn't even put on my list, and she had those qualities that I actually needed in addition to the ones that I was asking for. So that's how God is. He's so good that he gives you over and above, exceeding even more than you can ever ask for or imagine. And that's what he did when he sent me Jacqueline. He gave me so much more than I even asked for, and I'm so thankful because he gave me exactly what I needed. I was like, whoa, she became my new list. So she is my list. And I thought that was cool. And you got to take notice at that point to think, man, she's it. She's the one. Like if she just blew my list out the water, and my list was pretty, I would say my list was pretty good because I was real specific and I put exactly on there what I was looking for, and she blew it out the water and then some. I was like, yeah, I'm done. Let's go. Let's meet me at the altar. Let's play that Jagged Edge, play Yummy, play whatever it is. Like I'm hearing the music, I'm ready. Let's go. Then I started shopping for rings and boom, here we are. I realized that without Jacqueline in my life sucks. So I had to ask myself and be real with myself one day. I asked myself 2 questions. Can you see a future with her? And can you imagine living life without her? So I saw a future with her, and the answer was yes. And when I got to the question of can I imagine living my life without her, the answer was no, I could absolutely not. I didn't even want to try to live without her. I realized that I would be sad without her in my life, and I realized that I wanted her to be a part of my life moving forward, and I didn't want anybody else to be a part of my life in that capacity. So once I realized that, and I was real with myself and asked myself those 2 questions and had those 2 answers to those questions, I started saying, hey, she's the one. And I was already dating her intentionally, and dating to marry, not just dating to date. And I laid it all out for her from the jump before we even started dating that, hey, I'm dating you with a purpose. I'm dating you to marry you. I'm not dating just to date. So I'm gonna be very intentional. So she knew from the jump that I'm a man of intentionality. This is to really explore the possibilities of being married, and I'm not gonna string with her emotions or keep her going or keep her around for 10 years and not marry her. It was like, once I knew she was the one, the plan went into effect to start getting married, because I didn't want anybody else coming around the corner trying to marry her if I wasn't going to step up and put the ring on her finger. And I know that when you're looking at a lady, it's like a mirror. There's 10 other guys looking in the same mirror. So when you have your shot, you gotta shoot your shot. And that was me going and proposing, because I knew that I didn't want to live my life without her being a part of it. And I still don't want to live life without her, because she completes me. She's my ride or die. I know the blessing that she's been to my life and how she's made me such a better man. So I am so glad that I realized that she was the one. And these are just my 10 reasons how I knew. There's more reasons, but these are just the 10 that just came out that I wanted to highlight in this video. So I hope this helps. I hope this inspires. I hope this encourages. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. There's gonna be a lot of videos coming from us, and we're so glad you guys are on the journey with us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for checking out our video, and we'll see you next time.